So, yeah, it's gonna be very interesting to see what Fairy Tail does now. Um, so next target is finding some way to stop Selene. Now I don't know where the next chapter is gonna go at all. I don't know the way the chapter ended. I don't know. It'd be kind of crazy if she's like, now I'm your master. Now that would be all sorts of craziness where they just like, well, guess what? You serve under me. I'm gonna be the new master of the Diabolos Guild. That would be crazy. And if I predict that and that actually comes out to come to the case, oh my goodness. Now the story could go anywhere. Good God, man. A dragon god being a guild master?
Man. You know, I never thought that, well, I'd actually predict something happening and, it happened. Mind you, when I read the chapter, I was like, I called this, that she would become Diabolos' new master. I'm just proud of myself. I called it now. Technically, you can say, well, it was kind of obvious that she was probably going to be the new master of the Diabolos Guild. But at the same time, you could have that sneaking suspicion like, oh, maybe Selene didn't become the new guild master. But lo and behold, I am a great prognosticator. And I essentially, with that clip you saw at the start of the video, from about a week or two ago, at the end of it, I essentially said, what if frickin' Selene just says, I'm gonna be guild master, and you guys listen to me. And lo and behold, in this chapter, she says she's going to be guild master. And I'm very proud of myself. I predicted that. Again, like I said, you might have all predicted that as well, because it was kind of obvious with the direction they were going. But I think, because I made the reference in the last chapter review that we might get a Diabolos versus Fairy Tail Guild fight. Maybe we get something like that now that Selene's in control. And the only reason is this. The reason why it's confusing to me where this could be going is, I'm guessing this is going to be the next arc. The new reformed Diabolos under Selene versus Fairy Tail now. Listen, I'm definitely cool with that being the next arc, but it would be pretty crazy if they save Selene for maybe the last antagonistic villain of 100 Year Quest, and that's the arc we get set up with. Now, I have a feeling that Selene might be the big bad in this next arc, because I morally think that Ignia is gonna be the main, final dude that Fairy Tail's gonna have to go up against, because it makes the most sense. But I wouldn't be mad if Selene is the final, antagonist of the series. So let's get into chapter 91. So this is Fairy Tail 100 Year Quest, chapter 91, titled My World. Now, the cover page is of Lucy doing the whole, or putting her face through the bodybuilding type of, cardboard type of thing where the whole thing where you put your face through, something of what it looks like it's going to be like some different looking body, structure. And yeah, listen, Lucy just puts her face through it and Natsu and Happy are just dying of laughter. So you have to wonder, maybe this is their first date? I don't know. Hey, I'm just throwing Nalu things to the wind anyways. So anyways, we start the chapter off where we last left off. And that's obviously, well, Diablo's members seeing their master Georg die. So obviously, they're still shocked by this, and they're like, Master Georg's dead, and stuff like that. So they're all shocked. Now, Selene goes on to say, after this, whole thing happened, Selene goes on to say, you have it wrong. I did fight seriously to an extent in my human form. I was no match for you. I will admit that. So essentially Selene, I guess admits that she isn't nearly as strong in her human form than she is in her dragon form. Now, personally, in my humble opinion, I still think she's lying. Because she did say in the fight against Suzaku, I will actually give the fourth the effort to try, which essentially sounded like she was giving it like maybe 60-70%. I still believe in her human form. Selene is very strong. I don't believe that was like her limit. I just feel like she was somewhat holding back still, even though she was actually putting in work and effort of trying. It's just she got caught off guard by Suzaku's attack. I still think in Selene's human form, I think she's definitely strong. Now, obviously, she's stronger in her dragon form than her human form, but I think she's definitely capping at that statement she made. I'm weaker in my human form anyways. I think she's much more stronger in her human form than she says she is. I think it's a way of her trying to have the Diabolos members just be like, oh, so we probably shouldn't F with you when you're in your dragon form, and at this point, we can't do anything. So I think she's capping about that. Now, Suzaku's trying to avenge Master Georg, and essentially Selene's like, come on, stop with this. You know, if you even think about trying to fight me, you're just gonna end up like him, dead with utter ease, and you know that. And essentially Selene goes on to tell the Diabolos members, like, listen, I already told you, I don't want to kill you. Actually, I respect your levels of strength. I think you guys are quite strong. I don't want to fight you. I don't want to kill you. And listen, I only wanted to kill Master Georg because, well, he killed my son, so an eye for an eye, and stuff like that. So, yeah, and then again, she goes on to make the mention, too, in the chapter that killing them would be a waste. Because it's like, well, we know Selene's pretty manipulative. So, of course, you would see underlings killing them right then and there as a waste and stuff like that. Now, Selene asked, are there any other guilds? Are there any others in this guild like this? And essentially, I keep forgetting the other Dragon Slayers. I was supposed to get their names before I made this video, but I was too hyped to record this video, so I didn't. The Night one essentially says there are 3 more like us. And essentially, Selene's like, oh, really? That's just great information. And she goes on to say, humans have consumed the flesh of dragons, truly are frightening. So, this is when, obviously, my prediction came true, and Selene's like, well, for this representative guild, I will become its new master. So, essentially, Selene is forcing herself to be the new master of the Diabolos Guild. And essentially, everybody's in shock, and even Suzaku's like, there's no way in hell I'm gonna do that, or allow that to happen. And Selene just shows off her power, and she's like, bow to me, humans. And essentially, you see all of them essentially bowing down before her. Mostly, I think it's because of her magic pressure she's giving off. 2, I would say utter fear. But this is when we see Kyria essentially, saying, I'm done playing games. You need to stop messing around, Selene. And she goes in for an attack. And Kyria says, our guild is specific in hunting and killing dragons and stuff like that. Now, this is when Selene unleashes her power, and they see it from what the other members say. It's literally her creating a moon inside the guild. And essentially, Kyria is gone. Now, essentially, the other members think Kyria's dead. But Selene goes on to say, oh, she's not dead. I just transported her somewhere else. Now, I'll bring her back so kindly if you guys just listen to me. We can play that type of stuff. So this is when we see Selene deform from her dragon form back to her human form, and she's fully healthy now. She's fully healed. All the bruises and cuts and wounds she had from the last chapter and from the fight with Suzaku, they're all gone. She's re-healed. So I'm guessing we find out when a dragon god transforms into the dragon form after they're badly damaged. The moment they're done, the moment they stay in the dragon form, I guess for maybe a select period of time, and the moment they deform, well, guess what? They are automatically healed. Their wounds are healed. Now, I don't know if this goes for the other dragon gods, but this is for Selene's case, it seems like that's the point. So this even makes her even more deadlier because she can be like, you know what? I'm just gonna go my dragon form and kind of just re-heal all the damage I just took, and stuff like that. Obviously, she'll probably just get to the point of just fighting her dragon form anyways, but she's just brand new, healed, still looking in the beautiful, sexy self she is. Again, dude, and this is why I'm so happy that Fairy Tail 100-Year Quest, you know, is finally being animated, if you didn't know. And funny enough, I made a mention in the last chapter review that I can't wait to see the whole Selene killing Georg animated. Lo and behold, a week later, Fairy Tail 100-Year Quest anime gets announced. So I'm gonna see that actually happening. Also, too, I can't wait to see Selene animated because I know they're gonna do her right and they're make her design look so damn good. Mostly because I'm thirsting over Selene, and Selene, honest to God, the way I'm marking out for Selene might be my favorite Fairy Tail antagonist. Low-key, she honestly might be my favorite Fairy Tail antagonist. Like, out of all the series, she might be my favorite Fairy Tail antagonist. And again, like I said, who wouldn't want to see Selene animated in all her sexiness? I know you do. I know you do. Come on. Put that in the comment section. Do you want to see Selene animated? Because we all want to see Selene animated with how she looks. I can't wait to see her. Selene's my favorite. Honestly, Selene might be my favorite freaking antagonist in this series. I love her, man. She's so great. So obviously, after Selene deforms, she goes and says, that girl, I actually like her. I don't really dislike tomboy characters. So you know what? I like her. I'll mess around with her. Obviously, the other members are like, return Kyria to us. And essentially, Selene's like, well, that depends on how you respond to my demands and the fact that you acknowledge me as your guild master, and I'll bring her back kindly and stuff like that. Now, Selene goes on to say, here's some good news for you. I have some information about the dragons you seek. All I ask is for your assistance. So this is when we kind of find where Selene kind of explains what her plans is, I guess, for Earthland and stuff like that. And the other Diabolos members are shocked because they're like, wait, you're after your own kind? And the thing she says what she's really after is distortion. And she goes on to say, distortion gives rise to power. A dragon and those who consume them will join hands to defeat other dragons. That kind of distortion will resort in the power of the world. So Suzaku replies to this statement. He's like, then your purpose is to defeat dragons as well. And essentially Selene goes on the whole spiel that there are 4 dragon gods in this world who stand in my way. She brings up about Alderaan, and she says, well, Alderaan died a few days ago. She goes on to talk about Merphobia, the water dragon god, and she goes and say, well, he lost his power and he's a human now. But we can come back to him later and probably kill him later. So essentially, you know, Selene essentially says, well, we won't do it for now. I'll let him have his little piece for now as a human, but we'll go to him and we'll kill him later, and stuff like that. So then this is when she goes on. Now she says, listen, my only 2 last problems are the gold dragon god Viernes. So we get the new confirmation on one of the eluding dragon gods we haven't met yet, and that's the golden dragon god Viernes. Now we don't see what the golden dragon god looks like. We just see some sort of hieroglyphics type of writing type of thing, you know, going on in the panel, which, okay, makes sense. They're building up the hype to this new dragon god. As well as she goes on to say, another problem is the fire dragon god Ignia. And she goes on to say, as long as those 2 are not killed, my world will not be complete. Essentially saying, if they are not dead, I cannot achieve what I want in this world. So I want you to go find them, and I want you to go kill them for me, and stuff like that. And Selene goes on to say, a world devoid of dragons, a world of only humans. So essentially, she's sick and done with the world of dragons. Now, Diabolos member's like, why would you want that? And what's your gain? And essentially, Selene's like, well, simple. I'll live in this world as a human. A human with the strongest power. Essentially saying that, well, all the dragons that are taken out, there's nobody that will rival my power in this world. Whether, especially if they're human, I'll be the only last remaining dragon in existence. And guess what? Nobody can touch me. So essentially, it's kind of the angle of she wants the Diabolos members to kill the other dragon gods. So then she's the final last remaining dragon god. And she's the one up top where nobody can rival her power. And obviously, one of the Diabolos members asks, you want to become human? And Selene replies by saying, it's not because I want to, it's simply the providence of age. She goes on to say, the age of dragons ended 400 years ago. Acnologia and the 5 dragon gods delayed her demise by 400 years. Essentially saying, Acnologia and the other dragons, they've been alive for like all these centuries and stuff like that when we were supposed to die out years ago. But you know what? That didn't happen. And essentially Selene's like, well, now it's time we finally put that, age, that era to rest for good. And obviously this is a shock to all the Diabolos members. Selene goes on to continue her statement saying, for 400 years, we 5 have kept each other in check while distorting the world. Essentially, the whole balance thing. If there's, one dragon god against another one, it kind of keeps themselves in balance. So there was kind of like some sort of trinity going on to make sure the world didn't go to utter chaos. She goes on to say, because our strength is perfectly balanced, if we were to collide, the worst case would be our mutual destruction. Essentially, the world would end. Furthermore, someone could have aimed to profit from our fighting. Such was the case, which is technically what Natsu and company are somewhat doing, making a profit of killing these dragon gods. Well, they only kill them if based on, if they're good or not, and stuff like that. So Selene goes on to continue saying, however, I finally came to realize that the key to winning this battle, and that is you humans. If you have the strength for it, you could defeat Viernes and Ignia. They do not believe strength. They do not believe the strength humans possess, but I am different. I was convinced when I saw Suzuku's strength for myself. Essentially, Selene's like, yeah, the other two, they're not much in believers of human strength and everything. They don't acknowledge human strength. But when I fought you, Suzuku, you very much intrigued me. And you showed me that, humans are nothing to sneeze at. Your guys' strength is actually pretty damn good. So essentially, I guess you can say we can get the confirmation that, we already knew Ignia's stance on humans, but we find out that Viernes, essentially his stance on humans is, well, he's the type of dragon god that doesn't like humans, essentially. So essentially Natsu and company are gonna have to defeat the others and defeat the other members of Diabolos, or have to defeat Viernes, because they're like, well, guess what? He doesn't like humans and stuff like that. And essentially, Selene's like, you see, if me and you work together we can change the world. Like how a certain former president was kind of trying to do that, but epically failed. I know, I don't want to get into politics. Obviously, now the Diabolos members, they hear her out, but they're like, yeah, that sounds nice, but you killed our master. And Selene's just like, but I was told he was the enemy of my son. She goes on to say, you simply must let go of a man who's been crushed by nothing more than my forefoot. He was incapable of giving orders to someone like you, which, damn, Selene's like, you really want to listen to that clown who's dead? I killed him with one friggin' move just under my hand. Really? You take orders from a dead man? Oh, please. He didn't take you anywhere. I can take you places. Essentially, Selene further shitting on Georg, saying he ain't shit. And stuff like that. So then that's when Selene's like, here. She brings back Kyria, And obviously the Diabolos members are happy. Now, Selene says, on top of deleting Bierness and Ignia, if you still want to avenge that man, I'll be your opponent as many times as you like. Essentially saying, you can try to beat me and you can try to fight me, but you're probably not. But hey, if you guys want to get your revenge, you're more than welcome to try. You know, after we defeat Ignia on Bierness. And that's when she goes on with her menacing look she's been giving since she was first introduced. She goes on to say, until then, we will be allies. Be proud. You should feel quite superior with a dragon at your back. Bro, when she said this comment, I was like, that bitch Selene is so badass and I love her. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, dude. I think honestly, after reading this chapter for a second time, man, I honestly think she is hands down. I already said she's S tier. She's hands down my favorite antagonist of the series. She's my hands down my favorite antagonist of the series. Not because of the look she gives, because she's hot. I know she's hot, but just the motivation she gives, bro. I really do love her, and it's gonna suck when eventually they kill her off. Honestly, low key, right now she's the best villain of Fairy Tail 100 Year Quest. She's the best villain in Fairy Tail 100 Year Quest. And honest to God, she rivals even some of the better villains in Fairy Tail, the original series. I think the one villain she probably doesn't top is probably Zareth, but she's a definite close second, in my opinion, when it comes to maybe beating damn Zareth for best Fairy Tail villain of the entire series. I literally, I don't think that's cap. I think that's honest to God true. I think Selene could rival Zareth as being one of the, if not the best Fairy Tail antagonist in the series. Selene is just great. She's just great. Obviously, the other Dragon God, or the other Diabolos guild members essentially just bow before her and they're like, okay, we understand. We understand now. Obviously, Suzaku, he's kind of, I guess, hold on a second, guys. Okay, sorry for that quick break. But yeah, it seems like all the other members of Diabolos, they're okay. They're like, they understand, like, okay, the position they're in. Suzaku reluctantly is just kind of like fine, and he kind of gives the look. He kind of gives a typical, you know, Fairy Tail look of a character that's obviously just like, I don't want to do this, but I have no choice but to listen. And he kind of has a distraught face on him. So I guess you can say, you can kind of wonder, maybe the Diabolos members, maybe they asked Fairy Tail for help in this situation. I don't see that happening, but, you know, in this case, they're kind of Selene's slaves, to be honest. Like, literally, they're kind of Selene's slaves, so, yeah. Now, essentially, Selene, before we end off this part of the story, she goes on to say, to start, bring Suzaku and those of his rank together. And they go on to mention the Dark Dragon Slayer Knights. So, okay, the Dark Dragon Slayer Knights. We're going to finally see these characters that were hinted at. And essentially, Selene goes on to say, our first order of business is to kill Elfsaria, which, if you remember who Elfsaria was, he was the guy that gave Natsu and company the 100-year quest mission to take out the Dragon Gods. And they go on to say, and now the Diabolos member is like Elfsaria, and she goes on to say, the one who is human despite being a dragon, much not like Acnologia. To be honest, I could kill him all on my own, but I would like to see your power. Essentially saying, you know, I just want to see if this is a test to see if you guys are as strong as you say you guys are. So yeah, now we cut over to Dramil. Essentially, this is when Natsu and company are setting off again to continue their quest. And they're saying goodbyes to the Fairy Tail members and stuff like that. Even Urza says, now listen, if we stayed, we probably would have not wanted to leave. So yeah, now Mary Jane goes on to tell them, listen, we're probably going to be doing some more sightseeing before we head back to Magnolia, so don't worry. The next time you see us, we'll probably be back in the Fairy Tail Guild. Now, obviously, Juvia's kind of sad that Gray's leaving, and Gray's kind of like, listen, you know, I have a job to do, but I'll be back, so, you know, don't worry, and stuff like that. So yeah. What's his face? Jet and Droid kind of talk to Wendy, saying, "Are you bigger now?" Essentially hinting at the fact, well, Wendy did kind of get an age growth transformation in the last arc, but obviously Wendy's like, no, I kind of did a little bit, but it was for that one set moment. But yeah, but essentially Natsu and the others say their goodbyes, and they say, we'll see you guys back at the guild. And the other Fairy Tail members are saying, oh, all right, and goodbye, stay safe, and comebacks, and everything. So essentially the chapter ends off where Natsu and the others are wondering what to do next. Gray makes a mention saying even Selene's gone missing and we got no clue where her whereabouts are. And essentially Urza says, well, I got an idea. Why don't we go back and visit Elsaria for a bit so we can find more leads? And that's where the chapter ends off. So it's seemingly gonna probably be that maybe Fairy Tail runs into the Diabolos, the Black Dragon slaying knights, and they have to do this to protect Elsaria, and maybe they get the word out that, oh, we were ordered by Selene to come kill this guy. So it's definitely setting up the next arc, where we could be getting maybe Diabolos versus Fairy Tail, or Selene's Diabolos Guild versus Fairy Tail. Now, depending on how it goes, maybe, like I said earlier, maybe the Diabolos Guild members help out Fairy Tail in taking down Selene and say, listen, she's kind of holding us as her prisoners, as her slaves, and we have to listen to what she says. But the interesting question is going to be is, how loyal will the Diabolos Guild over time be loyal to Selene? Obviously now they're not loyal, but who knows? Maybe if Fairy Tail, is about to, when they're fighting Selene, maybe they try to finish her off, but then that's when maybe you see the Diabolos members finally recognize that Selene is who she truly is, and they protect her and they have her back. I would love that kind of twist angle where, yeah, we don't like you, but we're going to put your trust in you because you're our master. You're our guild master and stuff like that. So I definitely could see an angle where it's over time, the Diabolos members eventually go to trust Selene, and they're like, you know what? Selene's not that half bad as a master. So it's gonna be very interesting to see where the story goes. Definitely, it's seeming like we're gonna get a matchup between Diabolos and Fairy Tail again to protect Elsaria. But this was another great chapter of Fairy Tail. Definitely, I cannot wait to see more of this series. And again, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts on this week's manga chapter of Fairy Tail 100-Year Quest. Again, hit that subscribe button if you want to get more Fairy Tail content, or for example, any more content relating Fairy Tail and its updates, not to the anime announcement of Fairy Tail 100-Year Quest. Again, I don't know based on when it comes out if I'll do anime reviews, because I don't know if I'll have this channel up for long. I'm not saying like I'm gonna be quitting my channel, but hey, I got a life. If things come up where I have to stop the YouTube gig, then hey, that's fine, because I was honestly just doing this for fun. But hey, I like recording videos and interacting with different communities and stuff like that. But so yeah, look forward to that. Again, look forward to another Fairy Tail arc review video. This past week, I did the Grand Magic Games back half of the arc review, where it was essentially, the whole Future Rogue stuff. And this upcoming Monday, I'm going to be the arc review video that's going to go up on Monday. It's going to be my review on Fairy Tail Phoenix Priestess, the movie, because I'm kind of that in the series. So yeah, but look forward to that. I'll put probably also too at the end in my outro, the video that will link you to the Fairy Tail 100-Year Quest anime announcement, so you guys can get my thoughts on that if you haven't seen my video on that. But other than that, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day, and again, like I said, I think it's better to be a Fairy Tail fan now than ever before. So yeah, but other than that, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. Hopefully you guys are staying safe out there, and until then, guys, have a great rest of your day, or now checking out the video. Until then, guys, peace.